Hello, everybody. Hope you hear me. Do they hear me? Okay, perfect. So, first of all, hello, everybody. Thank you for your time. I'm happy to be here. I want to thank the International School of Bologna for inviting me. I'm happy and glad to, be presenting and spend half an hour together. My name is Luca Manzotti. I'm from Bergamo. I came to the US in 2019 for the first time to, attend a master's degree in a university here in America, and at the same time to play college soccer. So I was a student athlete in the US. After graduation, I moved to Florida, where I am right now. And I'm a regional manager and head of recruitment for Southern Europe for ASM Sports Group. My company, we are a sports recruiting agency that recruit, help, guide, and support students from all over the world, international and Americans, in getting athletic and academic scholarships in universities in the US. In this brief presentation, I want to outline the major factors families and students should consider when thinking about coming to the US and attend a university here in America. From my work experience and my personal experience, so I lived this, I studied here in the US, so I think I learned very well how the American system works, how the college system works, and I think I can give you guys some advice about, the major things you should consider when thinking about coming to the US to start university. First of all, I hope you see my screen. I prepared a few slides. Let's get straight to the point. The first factor, the first component I believe important that you should consider is your personal preferences. I speak every day with athletes, with students, with parents and families, and I try to ask, what's your priority? What's important for you? We are speaking about coming to a different country, to a different continent, and study. It's not a 3-week experience. It's not a 6-month experience. It will be probably a 4-year, 5-year experience here in the US. So it's important to be in a place, in an environment that you like, that you enjoy. So here I just wrote some questions you should ask yourself. What's your priority? Do you want a high-ranked academic university? Do you want a high-ranked sports program? Do you want to live in a big city, in a small town? Do you want, to be close to an airport so that it's easier to travel? To give you some examples, I work with a lot of golfers, and the major priority for them is the weather. They want a hot and warm weather in order to be able to train and play all year long. In December, in January, with 20 degrees outside. So I normally send my golfers to southern states, so universities in Florida, in Texas, in Arizona, in California, So try to understand what is your priority, what is the factor or the factors that make you choose a university A over a university B. I think this is the first component, and it's very important. Going on with the second slide, of course, you are coming today to study, to get your degree. The system here in America is a bit different compared to Italy. In Italy, we have the classic, first level degree, 3 years, the laurea triennale, and then we have the specialization, laurea magistrale, and then we can, attend a doctorate program, un dottorato. In the US, it's a similar system, but the main difference is that the first level degree, it's a 4 years degree. So when you complete high school in Italy and then you come to the US to start university, your experience, you will get your degree after 4 years. Okay? There are thousands of different study programs and majors and minors, like in Italy. You know, you can study business, economics, finance, sport management, engineering, biology, mathematics, computer science. You know, there's plenty of choice, plenty of opportunities. Just, you know, try to focus and understand what you really like, and then you can target the universities that offer those specific, you know, study programs. I think an important difference you should know is the difference between major and minor. The good thing about American universities is that, on general, they are very, very flexible. So they give you the opportunity to choose a lot of classes, a lot of exams. They give you the opportunity to plan your semesters in a very flexible way, to explore different fields. So the major is the core, the core field of your degree. So for example, if you want to study economics or business or finance or engineering, that's your major. But many universities offer also the opportunity to choose a minor. So for example, a student can choose a major in business administration with a minor in sport management, for example. In this situation, you will have the core, field of your degree, which is business and administration, and then you have your minor in sport management, so you can explore a different field. It's a sort of specialization, a sort of concentration of your degree. So this is very interesting. To give you an example, I studied business administration in college with a minor in project management. So I had some classes focused on project management, which is a very, related topic to business, but it's a bit different. And it's a sort of, as I said, a sort of concentration. So I think it's important to understand this difference. I just want to cite two specific cases, law and medicine, because here in the US, the system is very different in these two fields. So if you want to study law or medicine, we are speaking about a very long-term plan, okay? So we're speaking about probably stay in the US for 10, 15 years, and after that, remain in the US and work here in America. The legislative system is different compared to Italy, compared to the European one. So if you become a lawyer in the US, probably you will stay here and work here. With medicine, the system is just different. In Italy, you just start medicine from the first year. You have your test. If you get accepted, you start your degree. In the US, you start medicine just after your bachelor's degree. So first you have to come to the US, get your bachelor's degree in a scientific field. Normally it's biology or physics or chemistry. And after your bachelor's degree, you have a test in order to get accepted in med school. And, if you pass the test, you can officially start to study and to get your degree in medicine. So these are two specific cases that are a bit different compared to Italy. All the other degree in business, economics, engineering, computer science, or whatever, they are 4 years degree. So it's very simple. And if you get your degree in the US, it is 100% recognized in Italy and in Europe. So don't worry about the the validity of the title. There are, especially in the last 5 to 10 years, about the new tech world that is being developed. The artificial intelligence, AI, fintech, the Web3 world. These are very interesting new trends. They are growing a lot, and there are, every year more and more universities offering, these majors and minors for you to explore. So when you consider academics, try to understand, of course, what do you want to study, and try to focus and target the universities that offer those study programs. It might seem very simple logic and banal, but it's a big problem I'm seeing when I speak with families and athletes and students. Most of them don't know yet what they want to study. So they have they're very open to evaluate every option. But, I think if you already have an idea, at least the field, I want to study business, I want to study engineering, I want to study political science, I think it's easier for you to target the right universities. This is very important. I speak every day with families, students, athletes, and some of them, they are just focused on one or two different universities. Maybe they tell me, hey, Luca, I want to study at Stanford or at UCLA, which is great. It's important to be ambitious, but there are more than 5,000 universities in the US. There's plenty of choice. There's plenty of opportunities. And, I think it's very, very important to keep your mind open and don't focus on just one or two universities. Because first of all, you don't know, you are not 100% sure that you are going to get accepted in those universities. That's the first point. So if you just focus on one or two and you get denied, get rejected, you just lose your opportunity of coming to the US and study here. While if you keep your mind open, evaluate different options, apply to different universities, you have no limits. You can apply to 20, 30, 40 universities if you want. It's not a problem. It's better always to have different choices, different opportunities, rather than, close your doors because you are lazy or because you are too sure of getting accepted in a specific school. Schools, every university has specific academic requirements and athletic requirements if you are an athlete in order to get accepted. And, it's important to keep your mind open. Just explore different options, apply to different universities. And it's always better to have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different choices rather than having nothing, So just be flexible, keep your mind open, and explore different universities and options. I think it's very, very important. This is probably a pretty tough slide. In my job, I also have to be very realistic with families and students and athletes, So be realistic. It's, as I said before, it's important. It's very positive to be ambitious, to aim to the top schools in the US. But as I wrote here, if you have a 2.5 GPA and a 980 in the SAT exam, you will not be accepted at Stanford or at Harvard or at Princeton. It's just how it is, Every university has academic requirements that you must respect if you want to get accepted. So in this situation, if you are in Italy, you are in Europe, you are in a different country, you are not an expert, you don't know very well the American system, you don't know very well the academic requirements, you don't know, very well how the application process, the recruitment process works in the US. My advice is to speak with an expert, speak with an agency, speak with a school counselor, speak with, a university in the US. Just try to gather information, try to, make research in order for you to target the right universities. For example, you are a student from Italy, you have an average grade of 7 out of 10, and you have a, 1100 in the SAT score. You will not be able to get accepted in top ranked universities in the US. So it's important for you from the beginning to start targeting realistic universities, realistic options that if you apply, you have good chances of getting accepted. On the other hand, if you are a straight A student and you have a 1500 in the SAT exam, then of course you can aim to top ranked universities, you know. So it's mainly based on your profile, on who you are, on what kind of student, what kind of athlete you are, you know. Just try to be realistic, also because it's a waste of money and it's a waste of time for you and your family if you're not a good student maybe and you apply at Stanford. Just, it's just an example, but it's just not realistic that they will accept you. So it's a waste of money because you spend money for apply to universities, and it's a waste of time for you. You can use that time to focus on different schools, different options. So try to be realistic. Going on, when you think about coming to the US, study here, live this incredible experience here, something important is the environment you are going to live in. So you should consider various different elements. This is very related to your personal preferences, but in which environment do you want to live in once you are here in the US? Maybe you like huge universities with huge campuses. There are universities in the US like UCLA, Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama State, that are literally towns, are literally cities. On campus there are 50, 60,000 students living. So maybe you are not a person that likes huge crowds, and maybe a small campus, a small tiny little university in the middle of Nebraska, it's a better fit for you. Some other important factors are the student professor ratio. There are some universities that they have one professor every 10, 15 students, and there are universities where there is one professor every 200 students. So in smaller universities, normally you have a very familiar environment. You have a direct relationship with your professors. It's very easy to contact them, to speak with them if you need help, if you need an advice. To give you an example, I've studied in a quite small university in the Midwest, and it had probably around 5,000 to 6,000 students. The campus was very, very nice, very, facilities were great, but it was not a huge campus. So it was very easy for me to, stay in touch with my professors, send my homework, send my presentations, schedule a meeting. And also the classes were very tiny. In my class, we were probably 15 students, so it was closer to a high school, but it's college. And it's just a matter of priority. If you like huge campuses, huge crowds, just target bigger universities. Other interesting factors that you should consider are the extracurricular activities offered by the universities. For example, fraternities, clubs, sports programs, the social commitment of the universities, So there are various different factors that you might be interested in. So when you're looking for universities in the US, you should make a lot of research and try to understand what you really want, very related to your personal preferences, in which environment you want to live. Also, an important thing is also the connections that some universities have with the job market here in the US. So some universities offer internship opportunities to their students. So this is another important factor you should consider if you're maybe if you want to have some work experience in the US, or maybe if in the future you want to stay here in the US, live here and work here. I think it's very important to understand if that specific university offers any, internship opportunity, any connections with companies in the area, so that you can target then those specific schools and universities. Going on with the sixth major component you should evaluate is just don't be afraid. It's normally it's a quite long process. You have to apply to universities, make research, wait for their decision. So it takes probably 1 year and a half, maybe 2 years, to complete the whole process, the whole recruitment process, especially if you are an athlete. If you are just a student, maybe it's a bit faster, but if you are an athlete, it's a longer process. But just try to be proactive, make research, ask questions. It's very, very, very important. It's something I see. I have calls with families and students every day, and every time I ask them, do you have any questions you want to ask me? Do you have any doubts? Do you need any clarifications? And most of the times, they don't have many questions, and I think most of the time they are just afraid of asking questions. Just don't be afraid of that. Just ask questions, contact university admissions, contact other Italian students that are studying in the US, so you can get some more information from a person that is living this experience. Okay, try to use the internet, social media, new technologies at your advantage. Make research. So just be proactive, take the initiative. Don't be afraid to contact a university, to send an email to a coach if you want to play sport, to send an email to the admission department of a university, ask for information. You have nothing to lose, so just be proactive, and be proactive and active in your admission process and recruitment process, because it's always better to have more information, to ask the right questions, to have the clear picture of the situation, rather than starting an application process. You don't know very well how it works. You don't know very well the academic requirements, or the athletic requirements, and then you just get rejected because you were lazy, because you are not proactive. Just don't be afraid of that. Just ask questions and make research, because it's very, very important. This is the last major component, and I think it's probably one of the most important ones. In this very simple table, I just try to outline the most important components and factors of the American college system. Okay, so before starting this journey, I think that you should be prepared. You should know what you're going to do. You should know what it's expected from you. So, starting with the first column, understand the American system. First of all, I'm sure you have heard about the different divisions. We have NCAA, NAIA, Ivy League, junior college, community college. There are these divisions. Every university in the US is part of one of these divisions. The division is mainly a matter of size, sports level, and finances. So how many financial resources a university has. Okay, normally the biggest division is the NCAA. The NCAA, you can find universities like Stanford, like UCLA, like Alabama State, like Lynn, Florida Atlantic, Michigan, NYU, most of the universities in the US are in the NCAA division. We have Division One, Division Two, and Division Three in the NCAA. Division One universities normally are the biggest ones. Okay, Stanford, Alabama State, Michigan, Ohio State. These are huge, big universities that offer a lot of majors. They offer a lot of sports programs, and they have probably the biggest financial resources available for scholarships. Then we have Division Two universities that are a bit smaller, but it's the same experience. 4-year degree, you can play sports, you can study, you can have your scholarships. Very similar to Division One, they're just a bit smaller. Division Three universities are mainly academics. Okay, so they are focused more on the academic side rather than on the athletic side of your college experience. And they do not offer athletic scholarship, but they do offer really good academic scholarship. So if you are a good student, you can aim to good Division Three universities. And generally speaking, Division Three universities offer a very high standard of education. For example, the MIT is a Division Three university, or University of Chicago is a Division Three universities, and these are world top ranked academic schools. So you can find some really, really good schools in Division Three. Then we have the NAIA division, which is very similar to the NCAA, still a 4-year degree. Normally, they are very similar to Division Two universities. Okay, so you study, you can play if you are an athlete, you can have your scholarship, but they're just normally a bit smaller compared to Division One schools. It's just a different division. The main difference is just the related to the athletics, to the sport. So it's just a different body of government that manage the athletic competitions inside the university. And then we have the junior college or community college system. So junior colleges or community colleges are weird universities, there is not a comparison in Italy. There is not something like a junior college in Italy. Junior colleges are 2 years universities. So you go to a junior college for 2 years. After 2 years, you get your associate's degree, which is a 2-year degree, which is not recognized in Italy, but it is in the US. After your 2 years, in order to get a bachelor's degree, so your 4-year degree, you need to transfer to an NCAA or NAIA university in order to complete the last 2 years of your degree. So basically, you go to a junior college, study for 2 years, then you transfer and finish the last 2 years. Okay. In total, to get your degree, it's always 4 years, but you can go through this pathway. Okay. Go to a junior college and then transfer. The junior college is interesting because universities are much cheaper, so you will save a lot of money. And they normally offer pretty general classes and courses so that you can explore different fields. Maybe if you don't know what you want to study, the junior college could be an interesting opportunity. And the other thing is that the junior colleges do not require the SAT exam, and it's easier to get accepted. Okay, so if you're not a great student, you don't want to take the SAT exam, the junior college is the right fit for you. After 2 years, you can transfer to a better university and get your degree from the new university. Okay, so it's a very interesting system. I just wanted to give you some basic information about the divisions, because I know that on the internet you can find a lot of information about NCAA, NAIA, junior college, Ivy League, and not everything is clear. Okay, Staying in the same column, as I mentioned before, the American system has different level of degrees. Like in Italy, we have the associate's degree, which is a 2-year degree, bachelor's degree, 4-year degree. And then once you graduate, you can attend a master's degree, which is normally 2 years, and a doctorate degree, which is a PhD, and it's normally 5 to 6 years. Okay. Just be aware of the costs involved. I think this is a very important matter. American universities are just very expensive. That's how it is, unfortunately. On average, we are speaking about around $45,000 per year. This budget includes your tuition, so your classes, your exams, your accommodation, your apartment or room inside the university campus, and your food. Okay? So, there are also some universities that cost up to $100,000 per year. So 45,000 is more or less the average university. Then, of course, there are more expensive ones and there are cheaper ones as well. You can find some schools that cost 30,000, 20, 25,000 as well. As I mentioned before, junior colleges normally cost between $18,000 and $25,000 per year. Okay, while 4-year universities, NCAA, NAIA, normally at least $40,000, and some universities even more. So just be prepared, be aware of the costs, because American universities are expensive. There are, of course, scholarship opportunities, athletic scholarships if you are a good athlete, and academic scholarship if you are a good student. So just make sure to speak with an expert, to speak with the university, and try to understand the financial aids available for you at that specific school. Going to the second column, if you want to come and study in the US, you need to respect specific academic requirements. If you are an international student from Italy, from Germany, from France, from South America, and in your country you don't speak English, you will need the TOEFL exam for admission. Some universities also accept the IELTS or the Duolingo, but the TOEFL is the exam that is 100% recognized by all universities. Okay, so the Duolingo exam is easier, but many universities, especially the good ones, do not accept it yet, because it's a bit easier exam. You can take it online. It's you can take it from home. So if you take the TOEFL, it's just better, in my opinion, because you can open up more opportunities. If you are attending an international school in Italy and your classes are already in English, you do not need the TOEFL or the Duolingo or the IELTS exam. Okay, so just in this situation, if you are attending a normal high school in Italy where classes are taught in Italian, then you need this exam for admission. The second exam you will need to take is the SAT or the ACT. Here, what's the difference between the SAT and the ACT? Universities in the US accept both, so you can take both. It's not a problem. Normally, the SAT, so the first one in my slides, it's a bit easier and it's more, related to humanistic or economics majors. While the ACT, the second one, I would advise it if you want to study scientific majors, for example, biology, chemistry, medicine, or, physics. So universities in the US accept both exams, and, just try to understand also your strengths. If you are a very scientific mind, you are very good at mathematics, statistics, chemistry, physics, maybe you should take the ACT. While if you're not very good at maths, you should take the SAT. Okay, these exams are a sort of test for university admission. It is mandatory in most universities, especially in NCAA universities. But with the COVID-19 pandemic, many schools don't require this exam for admission. So they can accept you even if you don't take this exam. But if you want an academic scholarship, you need to take the SAT or the ACT. Okay, so this exam must be taken by both international and American students. So it's not like the TOEFL that only international needs it. It's an exam for everybody, American and international. It's also important to understand what the GPA is. The GPA is basically your average high school grade from your high school. So the American system is a bit different. You have grades between 1 and 4, and your GPA is the average of your grades. So if you get an A, it's a 4. If you get a B, it's a 3. If you get a C, it's a 2, and go on. So a good GPA normally is above 3.5 out of 4. But if we are speaking about top-ranked universities like Stanford, UCLA, Harvard, Princeton, Yale, they want a GPA of 4.0 out of 4, okay? In the US, you can also have a higher GPA than 4 if you take extracurricular activities, if you take extra classes, you can increase your GPA and get a 4.2 out of 4 or a 4.5 out of 4. This is very, very important if you are aiming to top-ranked universities. But if you are attending a school in Italy, you just have to translate all your school reports in the American system, and there are specific agencies that do that for you. So some schools also require essays or recommendation letters or your resume for admission. Just make sure to be prepared and know about this. The last column is about the paperwork and the documents, all the boring stuff, you need to know before coming to the US. As I said before, it's a quite long process. It takes time. And you will need to translate, for example, your Italian school reports in English. You will need to convert your Italian grades in the American system. Once you are officially accepted by the university, you will receive a document called I-20. With this document, you can book your appointment at the US Embassy in Italy and get your interview and get your visa, okay? Once your student visa is approved, you can look at your health insurance, at the flights, and you can come to the US. But make sure to know the bureaucratic process, all the paperwork, the documents that are required, and try to be as organized as possible, because it's very important to, you will have a lot of documents, passport, pictures, translation of your school reports, so many different things, and it's easy to get confused. So just make sure to be ready and prepared. Perfect. So these were the major 7 components. So personal preferences, academics, what you want to study, keep your mind open and explore different options, apply to different universities, try to be realistic, try to understand in which environment you want to live, be proactive, so don't be afraid of asking questions and gather information. And the last one, be prepared, make research, and try to get as much knowledge as possible about the American system before coming to the US. The last couple of slides are more focused about athletic scholarships. Okay, so if you are an athlete in Italy, in Europe, or wherever in the world, you have the opportunity to come to the US as a student athlete. Okay, student athletes in the US can get athletic scholarships that help you to pay for your studies and for your universities. As I said before, universities in the US are very expensive. If you are a good athlete, this opportunity is something you should exploit because it makes you save a lot of money. I was an athlete in college. I played soccer and I had a scholarship, and this helped me a lot, in my journey, and this helped my family financially. Most universities in the US offer men's and women's athletic programs, so everyone can play sport in college. There are many different sports, from the most common ones like soccer, golf, tennis, swimming, track and field, basketball, American football, to secondary sports like beach volleyball or horse riding or fencing. Okay, you can find athletic scholarships in all these sports, and there are even more. Um, the athletic level in the US at the collegiate level is very, very competitive. That's for sure. You need to be a good athlete. You need to play at a good standard in Italy or in Europe if you want to get a good scholarship, if you want to play in college, because the level is very, very competitive. Professional sports teams from the NBA, for example, from the NFL, from the MLS, they draft players from college every year. So basically, college players can also become professional athletes. Okay, it's a very different system, but that's how it works. If you want to play college sports in the US, I have three main advice for you. The first one is to start your recruitment process at least a couple of years in advance. So if you are aiming to come to the US in August 2024 to start your degree and to start playing sports, you should start the process in 2022, maybe even in 2021. This for a bunch of different reasons. First of all, coaches have a limited budget they must respect. So they don't have millions of dollars every year to give in athletic scholarships. They have a limited budget. They must respect it. And when this budget is finished, you cannot do much for getting a scholarship because the coach doesn't have any money left. So start your recruitment process early, especially if you are a really good athlete and you're aiming to really good sports program. As I said, the level is extremely competitive. So make sure to start early because coaches recruit in advance. They want to get the best athletes as soon as possible. So to give you some examples, as of right now, so March 2022, I have a few athletes that are already committed to a university for August 2023 and for January 2024. So we are speaking about 1 year and a half, almost 2 years in advance. They have already accepted a scholarship offer, and they are ready. They have already started with all the documents. So start the process as early as possible if you are sure about coming to the US and play sports here. The second advice is videos, videos, videos. If you want to get recruited, you need highlights videos because it's the easiest and most realistic way for coaches to understand your athletic level, your qualities. So you need videos. Without videos, you cannot get recruited. A coach does not consider you. So especially if you play a team sport, for example, soccer or American football or basketball or water polo, you must have videos. So make sure to start and record your games from now if you want to play sport in college in the US. Create a good highlights videos from your games and competitions, and that will be a crucial and fundamental factor if you want to get recruited. So make videos or record your games or record your competition, because it's probably the first thing you need to do if you want to play sport in the US in the college system. And the last advice is to use a sports recruiting agency like ASM Scholarships, like us. We are based in the US. And now I'm going to give you some more information about us. We are based in West Palm Beach, Florida. We have over 10 years of experience. We recruit, help, and support international and American student athletes. And we guide them through the recruitment process. We directly connect them with American coaches. We have a great network of universities. We work with every state in the US. We have athletes playing at Stanford, at Princeton, and Wake Forest, at Florida International, at the University of Virginia. You know, we have some really good athletes in some great schools. We will assess your profile. This is the first step for us. So an initial evaluation of your opportunities in the US. We assess your academic profile, your grades, your SAT score, and so on. We assess your athletic abilities, so your videos, your experience, your athletic background. And after that, if you like the project, you like what we can offer, you like the opportunities that we can present you, then we can officially basically start the recruitment process. Our team is composed of former student athletes like myself, professional athletes. To give you an example, our soccer director is a professional soccer player in the US. And we have former college coaches with a lot of experience and great connections. So we are a great fit if you want to play college sports in the US. Here are my contacts. I hope you can see them. Feel free to send me an email. Feel free to send me a message on WhatsApp. I have two numbers, so you can text me to my Italian one, to my American one, no difference. If you want some more information about the American system, you want some more information about athletic scholarships, academic scholarships, you want to schedule a Zoom call with myself, just send me a message, send me an email, and I would be more than happy to help you guys in this process. So with this final slide, my presentation is finished. I don't know if we have some time for a few questions. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat, and I would be happy to answer. No. Yeah, just maybe an advice I can give you guys and family. If you are a senior in high school right now in Italy, and you are pretty late in the process, because if you graduate from high school in May, June 2022, it's very hard to come and get a scholarship for August 2022, or even if you are just a normal student, you don't want to play sport. Most universities have an application deadline. For good school, normally it's around October, November, December of the previous year. So for universities like big schools, like, as I mentioned, Stanford, UCLA, applications are completed October, November, December of the previous year. So for 2022, you should have applied to universities in October, November, December 2021. Average universities or smaller universities accept applicants until the last minute normally. So if you want to come to the US, probably at this stage for 2022, the big schools are not realistic. But if you just want to enjoy your experience, come to the US, live a different experience, just you know try and apply to smaller universities, more average universities, and I believe that you can still have some opportunities. On the athletic side, if you are an athlete, as of right now, it's very late. Most coaches are done with recruitment for 2022. But there are always some universities, some sports programs that recruit players and athletes until June or July. So you can try and contact me, and maybe we can explore some good options. But as I said before, timing is key. Timing is crucial. So if you are not a senior in high school and you are a junior, you are a sophomore, make sure to start this process as soon as possible, because it's extremely important. Yeah, feel free to ask any questions. I don't see any questions in the chat for now. So let's wait a little bit. As I said, if there's no questions at the moment, I can reshare my screen for 1 second, and you can get my contacts. I hope you can see it. You should be able to see it. But you can text me on WhatsApp, you can send me an email, feel free to contact me, and I would be happy to help. How do you find, okay, here's a question. How do you find what division a university belongs to? So it's very simple. You can just Google it. For example, let's say Stanford University, you can Google Stanford University division, and very, very easy. You can find the division of the university on the internet. Some universities maybe are part of a specific division, but some specific sports programs are in a different division. So, for example, it's possible that a university is a Division II university, but the basketball team of the university is a Division I team. Okay, so it's possible. It's not very common. It's possible, but if you want to find the division, very, very simple. Just Google it. Stanford University division, or Lynn University division, or University of Chicago division, and you can get the division. Very simple. You can also, if you want a list, you can also go and check the NCAA website, or the NAIA website, or the junior college website. And there is a list of all the programs and the divisions part of that specific division. Okay, so I hope that's everything's clear. And as I said before about the divisions, it's not a realistic representation of the academic level or the sports level. Okay, so you can find great academic schools in Division I, in Division II, in Division III, in the Ivy League, in the NAIA, as well as you can find great sports program in Division I, in Division II, in Division III, in the NAIA. So the major differences among the divisions are the size. Normally, Division I are bigger. The financial resources available. Normally in Division One, coaches have a higher budget for scholarships, and just the body of government. NCAA is different from NAIA, is different from the junior college system. So just don't focus on a specific division because you think that Division One schools are better academically. It's not true. As I said before, Division Three schools are great academically. There are some Division Two schools that are great academically. I can think about Rollins College here in Florida, in Orlando. They are a great school academically. They are a Division Two university. You know, or also there are, don't focus only on the big names. you know Perfect. There are Stanford, UCLA, Harvard, Princeton, big names. We all know that they are great schools, but there are some unknown universities that are great, really great universities. For example, I can think about Menlo College. Probably very few people know about Menlo College. It's a university in the NAIA division, and it's based in California, in the San Francisco area. And it's a great school academically. And the good thing about this university is that they offer internship opportunities and great job connections with Silicon Valley companies. So with Facebook, with Google, with Meta. Facebook now is Meta, but so Microsoft, with all these tech companies, huge companies. And Menlo College is probably, no one knows about it, but it's a great school, and it's not a Division One, it's not an Ivy League, it's not a Division Three, it's a NAIA university. So and it's a great school. So you can find unknown great schools. Just make sure to make research, gather information, ask questions. Look on the internet, look on US News, for example, is a very reliable website for academic rankings and athletic rankings for universities. You can use US News. There are many different sources that you can look at. And as I said before, you can contact me directly. I left my contact, so feel free to send me a message or to send me an email. Perfect. Let's wait a few minutes. Okay. I don't know if the organizer, Nova, should I leave the meeting? I don't see any more questions.